Peace and joy, guys. Welcome back to another video, Drumheller Farms. And hey, today we are going to hit up our winter stockpile. Today is the first day of winter stockpile grazing for Drumheller Farms here in South Central Michigan. And today is November 14th. So tomorrow is opening day of firearm season for us here. And you can see what we're leaving behind is a good amount of grass yet still that could be grazed. Here's 12-inch grass. So we definitely will be coming back here. Hang around with me today. This is my first time ever stockpiling an entire farm for a whole season. And that is because of non-selective high density grazing that I've changed to. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that today. But we will be coming back here, and I want to tell you my plan of how I'm going to hit this stockpile and what my plans are for coming back here with this roughly 120, 130 head of cattle, and how I think I can get myself grazing into the first of the year. So that's not too far away. So stick around with me today. Hey, I appreciate you watching the video, and let's go for a little cattle drive. All right, so I'm gonna get them over here to the fence. I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna park the buggy off to the side so they can kind of go around me, and then we'll run them through the woods to the stockpile farm. So much for having to call them, right? They're already over here. One thing I do like to have on my cattle drives, and anytime I'm working cattle, is I like a flag. You know, some people, you don't like slapping the flag, whatever. Listen, this works great for me in my operation. I'm not whapping them with it or anything. I'm just slapping it here and there, and that gets their attention to do what I need them to do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give them a call. There's a couple up there hanging out. Come on, come on, come on. That's gonna get them knowing what's going on here. Man, all we're gonna do is open this sucker up, and I got a single strand wire right here, and they know what to do from here, I can tell you that. Let's go, let's go, come on. First time making this drive all year. Seems a little weird. We have not grazed this farm off. Boy, she's a pretty heifer. And we got a couple scragglers here. It's nice to have somebody lead. Of course, I'm here by myself. And these are two older ones. This girl and this girl are both older cows. So, I'm gonna say that they're probably somewhere in the 14-year-old mark, 15, something like that. All right, I'm gonna hop in the buggy, which I generally like to follow behind on foot, but since they're kind of all scattered everywhere, I'm hoping that they are doing what they're supposed to do and heading right to the stock farm, but that I can't be 100% sure until I get there. So you that follow along on the channel, back there's where we raise our pastured pig operation. And there's a couple acres of really good sorghum pasture back there. I can already see a few of them have missed the turn and they're into the round bales, but that's all right, we'll get them out of there. Right up here is where we planted our orchard. So I planted 50 fruit trees, and those are cherries, pears, apples, and peaches, and then it goes up and wraps itself around our pond up there. This was a little bit of a concern for me. There's a little bit of a bottleneck here, but it looks like they've got this figured out just fine. I just kind of roped the trees off so nobody ran into it. That's our mobile chick brooder. So if you guys are new to the channel, we raise about 250 pasture raised chickens a month here on the farm all summer long. Needless to say, I am very thankful that those are gone and off the farm currently. Come on. Let's go. Somebody got inside there. A couple of these are last year's bales, so it's not that big of a deal that they got into it. Looks like they're all found their way to some beautiful grass. Guys, I gotta show you the stockpile. It is amazing. I had a local farmer ask me this year, his comment was, well, what's that stockpile gonna look like by the time you get to it? And you know what, to be honest with you, I didn't have a really good answer for him because I've never stockpiled a farm. I've never been able to. We've had to graze everything. Oh, here they come back again. You gotta be kidding me. So let me throw this up here. Why they're coming back with all the grass they got there. Let's go. I don't want them back through here. This is a little alleyway. Come on. So I didn't have a good answer for that farmer other than, hey, it's got to be better than hay. And that's probably not the best answer. I'm going to show you what happened to this stockpile, and it's an absolute beautiful thing what we're about to see right here. Let's go check it out. So just take a look at this stuff, guys. Oh my goodness. Is that not beautiful? Beautiful green grass. Look at this. This is up clear up to my chest almost. Some spots it probably is. It's kind of crazy because when you look across this field, what do you see? Well, you see a bunch of brown grass with some seed heads. Well, what I found has happened after watching this stockpile throughout the year is everything went to seed, fell down, and reseeded itself. So what I think we've done to this farm is we've just increased our plant spacing tremendously. And I'm going to get down in there into that stockpile. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right. I just plugged in my solar fencer. And I'm going to take a walk around here. I'm going to show you what I had to do to get this thing back to graze, because when you stockpile a farm for an entire year, things grow up. 3 big tree limbs that were all laying right here, and that's why this is all matted down. I had to bring some machinery in here to get them up off the fence because they were big. 39, he's going in here pretty shortly on a processing date. Keep chopping that grass, buddy. Man, look at that heifer. Woo-wee. What a dandy. All right, guys, check out what I had to do with this fence. So this was just so overgrown. Maybe not necessarily right here, but around this whole perimeter. You gotta think the grass was growing up like that, you know, as tall as me, folded over on the fence. Well, what I found out was my 0-turn tractor, the mower deck would go under this 4-strand high tensile. So I ran that, and you can kind of see it, and I ran that all the way around this whole farm, and then I had my farmhand come through and just weed whip anything that the mower didn't get. And that worked out really well. I was pretty surprised that I never realized that that mower would make it underneath there. And guys, I've been so busy this summer, I haven't even been back to this farm, and this is where it all started right here. This is our first farm. I came back here in between these two farms. Old lady had this for sale, and I came back here and I knelt down in between these two fields and I said, Lord, if it's your will, I'll give it back to you any way possible. If you want me to have this, I it's all yours. This is where it all started. And when I come back here and it's peaceful like this, all you can hear is the cattle ripping grass. I get that same feeling, that feeling where my heart hurts. And it's gratitude is what it is. It's absolute gratitude. So thank you, Lord. Here's a little bit better way where you can see where I had to mow. But man, the fences are clear now. And if you follow along on the channel, you know I took my excavator with a mulcher attachment and pushed everything back off this fence early this spring. So let's take a walk through the herd, and then I got chicken shores. Now look at the size of that steer on that cow. My goodness. People have asked me about weaning weights. I got scales, I just haven't used them yet, which is probably silly, but I can tell you right now, he's pushing right up there next to his mom. My goodness. What a beautiful, beautiful pair right there. Glory to God. They're gonna clean this up really well, guys. I'm feeling really good about this. $21. All right, guys. A lot of work walking through this stockpiled grass. It's thick. It's really thick. You can see this grass, you know, it's taller than me. The stems on it, look at this. That's over my head. And still standing up straight. It's pretty amazing. But what I'm most interested in is all this down here. I mean, this is some really good forage. You get right down to it, you know. There's even green down into the stem. Not as much as the top, obviously, and there's a lot of brown in there, but that stuff should still hold a lot of nutrients in with it. You know, the cattle aren't even hungry, really, from what they came off of. Some of them aren't even grazing. Some of them are just hanging out up here, and they're really not doing a whole lot. And I'm setting up my fence for tomorrow, which is a little dangerous, honestly. Because to be completely honest with you, I don't know how much they're going to eat. I really don't. But here's the thing. Tomorrow, I want to take my wife out for a date night. And so my plan is, tomorrow's Friday, so Saturday will be the following day. If I got to give them more, I'm just going to give them more, right? I'll do that early because I'll be around the farm all day instead of after work. After work we close at noon, so I'll be around the farm after noon. So, and if I've given them too much, well, then it's just a little bit of a penalty that I'm willing to take my wife out on a good dinner. So here's my plan, guys. We're gonna hit this not really hard, okay? I thought to myself, well, there's two different ways that I could hit this stockpiled grass. Again, never doing it before. How am I gonna hit the stockpile? So my first option I thought was to come in here and take everything, right? Level it right off from the start to finish the whole way. That was kind of my initial plan. As we were leaving some of the other farms, I've realized that, man, we're leaving enough to come back to, even if it's just a day, right? You get a day in each field. We've just gained 2 weeks on our rotation, and there's good quality grass out there, especially now that we've had a rain and we've washed a lot of the cow off of it. So then I thought, my wife and I, because she's part of this operation, Allison, just as much as I am, my next thought was, okay, let's go through, let's hit it. Let's hit it, not really hard, not really light. Let's just get it grazed as much as we can on this first time around. We'll go back to the farms that we've left. We should get another 2 weeks out of it. By then, we're hoping for some rain, whatever, okay? Maybe some snow. I mean, we should see some snow, hopefully, if we ever get a winter here in Michigan, because we haven't had one in a couple years. And then it'll wash this off, and hopefully, because we are still got a couple warm days ahead of us, some of this will spring back up from the sunlight, and we'll be able to come back in here then and just take it all, right? Pretty much just completely demolish it. Now, the only thing that's going to change that is if I find the fact that they're stampeding so much grass that it's just killing it right on the ground. And that is a possibility that I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I'm going to finish putting up this fence. So just like on all of our farms right here, we got frost freeze every few hundred feet. And this water line runs right down about the center of the property line. So works out really, really well. And what I do is I put a temporary, and then I can just split that thing so they don't mess with it. If they get on this side of it, I'll just put that on the other side of the fence there. Got just a long enough hose on this thing. All right, guys, next day. I know I'm wearing the same shirt, but it's just a long sleeve that I've been throwing on for chores. Back here to check out this stockpile. It's been 24 hours. We got one naughty one, which is an absolute beaut for a heifer, 1424. I'm gonna go ahead and open this fence up, let them go on the other side. All right, guys, there they are, back out there. Again, going into some beautiful stockpile grass, tons of green. Something I was thinking about while I was at work today, and I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference. They did pretty much exactly what I wanted them to do. They left a ton of grass over here. Right? They stampeded a ton of grass. They knocked it down. They fouled it with their manure and urine. Something I thought about when I was at work today. I wonder if I should have came over here about 3 or 4 weeks sooner. I could have grazed this off. We could have left, grazed for another 6 weeks on our other farms, and then came back here after a longer resting period. I don't know. You know, I think when we leave here, we're probably only going to have 2 weeks of grazing at another farm. And I don't know if it's going to be long enough for this to rest. You know, that's going to be the question. Is it going to be long enough? Are we going to get a rain? Is this grass going to get washed off? Also, parasite loads, all those type of things. If I could have waited and, you know, gave this 6 weeks a rest or something like that, I think we would have had better success on grazing this stockpile right off. We're feeding hay on this farm this year, okay? So, you know, why I'm saying that is I have all intentions to come back here and stay here for most of the year. We're gonna hammer this with some grass or with some hay. You know, what we've done is we've allowed this thing to get its plant spacing built up tremendously by giving it the proper resting period, which has been a whole year. We started to get some warm season grasses established on this farm, so I think that's helped it tremendously. So the plan is to come over here and feed hay because it's been 2 years since we fed hay on this farm. So I don't know. I'm interested in to see what's going to happen. If when we come back here in 2 weeks, this will be a long enough resting period to spring back up. Are we going to have some rain? Are we going to have the necessary conditions to come back here and get a good graze clean off? I got to go move sheep. And today is opening day of firearm season. My son's out here, and I believe that he just shot a doe or something. I don't know what he shot. But my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter are here, and they said, hey, we're going to get Nolan. Can we use one of the buggies? I said, sure thing, girls. Check out a doe. Did you just wake up? Hi. Hi, baby.
That is a lot of fat.
All right. Sheep. Should have moved them yesterday. And I just ran out of daylight. So, you can see here, we're leaving great residue left behind for these sheep to probably go one more rotation. All right, guys, well, these sheep are getting fat. It's actually, finally, they're starting to put on some really good weight. So they got about 2 days in this paddock, and that'll be the end of the field. I think what I will do is I'll run them back over here, because there's, you know, grass that are a good foot tall over there, foot 16 inches. So I'll run them back over there for probably a week or two while I make the processing dates, and that's close to the sorting facility. So that should work out great. So let me get a little closer here and I'll get a couple shots of these guys. They're kind of hate to get rid of them. They're starting to warm up to me at the point where they're not so skittish. And there's about 2 small ones, but other than that, there's some good fat sheep in there. That one right there is a pretty good size lamb. First year doing sheep. We got them as babies, baby lambs, freshly weaned. There's 16 of them. We ran them out here on pasture for the summer. You know, it's now middle of November, and we probably got enough grass to last them largely into the first of the year, but I probably aren't going to go that long. I think it's about time we do what we will with them and turn them into ground lamb, lamb brats, leg of lamb, and lamb chops, and sell them as highly nutritious, high density food for our customers. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you around. And go ahead and like the video, because that's what helps us out the most. And stick around. I appreciate you watching. God bless.